Meaningful content dies with silent views. Your subscription, like, comment, and share help the video reach more people.
In a historic precedent, Trump and his Representative Vance fired, as well as Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Ukrainian President Zelensky and his accompanying delegation from the White House expelled them from the White House in a frank, direct, and friendly manner during an official visit of the delegation to the White House. And Zelensky was inviting me to the White House to negotiate on the issue of ending the war in the EU-Ukraine between Russia and Ukraine, and on the issue of minerals, the famous minerals agreement, the rare minerals found in the territory of Ukraine, the exploitation agreement, the right to America in the equivalent of $500,000, according to what was said in previous agreements. The previous truth was very abnormal, because it was also characterized by other things. I mean, it was not just expulsion. No, this has a certain shape. The truth was that it looked very strange. I saw the truth of the press conference immediately after which he was expelled. It looked very strange. The first was in a verbal altercation in front of the media. Of course, the whole loud voice was for Trump, and he was defending his point of view. But there was a verbal altercation between the two presidents in front of the media. Live broadcast, Fox News, which is of course the channel close to the White House, was broadcasting the event, and the whole thing came out in front of people. The point of several accusations against Zelensky in this verbal altercation, which are accusations of insulting his country. What does it mean? There is something in it, and there is something in it from live who? America on Ukraine. And he rightly asked Ukraine to thank him. This topic was repeated several times, and they said it was war. If it were not for America, it would not have lasted for 2 weeks. American weapons are what left Ukraine supporting, meaning supporting the war in Ukraine in this way, if the war had lasted for this period. Otherwise, it would have ended in 2 weeks. So it would have been in the form of the real dialogue is not a pure form between leaders or anything. Any diplomatic form too, the bad image is that the US Vice President Trump intervenes and raises his voice. It is also excessive and unacceptable to diplomatic norms. He asked him to thank Trump, and if he means to thank the American people and such needs, and of course it is known that he is already a fan of enemies for a long time and refuses to support Ukraine from the year 2022, from the beginning of the war, when the Russia-Ukraine war broke out, and he is a fan against Ukraine and against America's support for Ukraine in general. I mean, and the matter also came to comment on President Biden. Why? He says that we have previous agreements with America with Biden. Trump escalated the issue to the point where he said that we had a stupid president. In this text, I mean, imagine you are talking to the head of state. This is the same country as Biden in this way in order to completely cut off the words. You already agreed with the Gabonese president. The president is stupid. This is my boss, and I am dealing with him personally now with an institution and a country, but this is what happened in the matter. The comment has reached the comment on Zelensky's clothes, which means that he is in the White House. Before he enters the White House, they told him, meet Trump in a suit. Do not be afraid to wear what he is wearing. Do not wear a suit. He is purely Iranian, and before that he was righteous. He wears a suit because he means he is committed to this uniform until the war is over. He is not a military man, but he does not want to wear a suit and live a life. Luxury means he wants to live an austere life like the army. So he wears this dress. This is his vision. The White House asked him about this issue, and Zelensky did not. He did not respond. He also entered wearing the same clothes, and when Trump saw him, he said to him, are you dressed up? Today, of course, ironically, this is not it. Mesh. It is not a satisfactory form, and the matter reached the point of canceling lunch. They were working for them tomorrow. When they quarreled and there was a serious argument, they canceled the request that they leave the White House. And what to eat? What? It's not lunch. And when they even asked them where lunch would go, they said no. The White House employees structured it, and that's it. This is something that naturally doesn't mean, strange. This is a precedent. a historical precedent. Not according to the history of America, nor according to the history of a major country, nor a small country. I mean, we have not seen this view. The truth is, first of all, the event carries very many connotations, the first being arrogance. Very severe in managing matters. We did not see this except in old historical pictures. We see the Tatars, for example, doing this. It is possible that some Akasars work on this issue, which does not accept any image that someone opposes. Therefore, when any image of the opposition or the other opinion appears, he becomes very, very nervous, his voice rises, and he becomes agitated, because how can you answer me this? We have an idea of what the next 4 years will be like, both in America and in the world, the way we govern. We saw the way things are expressed with Zelensky, and we can see it with others. If the issue develops into such a situation, the second very important indications are other than the method of administration and the arrogance of the Americans in managing matters. I believe that Trump and Vance in this meeting deliberately, which means that the issue does not deserve this. What happened and what Zelensky said did not mean that he was saying strange things, saying that we did a lot of peace negotiations and signed a lot. I agreed with Russia and they BB. If they don't adhere to it, they sign an agreement. A certain ceasefire, and they strike if they say we will make such a handover. Exchanging prisoners, and they don't do it, meaning they sign his order and don't do it. He says that, and the second is rising very, very significantly. I believe that he is rising because there is a secret, unannounced agenda. It may be in an agreement with Russia, hidden, unannounced, and because of this agreement, he wants to completely disrupt his dealings with Ukraine. He wants to stop support on the one hand, and he wants to stop the deal. Minerals on the other hand, but he doesn't want to. The rejection comes from him as if it were him. Left or disobeyed? No, you are the one who raised your voice, and you are the one who disagreed with it. You are like that since there is no agreement between us. And what did they get from the White House? It may be an agreement with Russia regarding minerals, determining because it is Russia itself said so. Putin said this. He said that we can form a partnership with America and we have more minerals than are present in Ukraine. So this agreement, or an agreement if he sells Trump to Russia, it may not only be Ukraine, it may be the Baltic state as well, Estonia, Latvia, and others. He also leaves it to Russia to tell the entire story of Europe, its strategic security, and there is no lawsuit. They announced on Trump's idea many years ago that he, as a country, bears the burden of defending Europe, and Europe itself does not defend itself with the same efficiency with which America defended Europe. Therefore, it is possible that he wants to evade many things. So he comes up in the meeting in an unnatural way, and he has a hidden agenda or hidden agreements on the Sykes-Picot system like this. Sykes-Picot, what are we? Did they swear by the Levant? As you know, and the world was divided against them. The Arab was in the division between England and France. At that time, no one knew Sykes-Picot. At that time, we knew Sykes-Picot 2 or 3 years later. However, at the time of the entire event, it was secret and no one was clear to him. I believe there is a life in the 1,000 meetings that you saw. At this press conference, Zelensky's attitude was heroic and meant responses. It was strong and it was firm, and this does not mean that it did not collapse in the face of this fierce attack from Vancouver and Trump, and expressed his point of view and the point of view of his country in a frank manner, but they won the round by raising their voice. They raised theirs in an exaggerated manner, as I say. Every print we have is a sure sign of the collapse of relations between Kiev and Washington. That's it. I believe that this picture has closed these relations, but what is more dangerous than that is that we have America's vision of the relationship with NATO that remains personal. Because that's it. It's clear that if there is a separation, and this is a point, by the way, a historic moment, if there is a separation between America and NATO, NATO depends on my report on America. It is possible to rely 70%, 80% more on America because all America separates from NATO. This can carry very many connotations and change the powers of the world that exist now. And this can also be confirmed by the reception of I.S. Sturmer, who is the Prime Minister, the British. After this issue came from Washington to London and Prime Minister Starmer met him. They received a warm reception, it means with hugs and necks, and they took it with him, which means in, on a journey. A very large number of English people received He is his support to the last extent, and he is supporting Ukraine with military force, and he is gathering again 12 European countries to sit with him. And all of Europe and the European Union announced that she is the foreign minister of the European Union. She announced that she supports Zelensky, and that what happened in Washington is a strange position, even if it is an unacceptable position. And so why do you say this? All of it? Because of the nature of Europe. It is the one in the picture. It is the one who meets Russia directly, and therefore it supports Ukraine as the first line of defense for Europe. In general, all of this may have an impact on the existing world powers, and it may also have an impact on America's relations with China. The topic is a very big topic. Why are we saying all this? Because Muslims must study this speech, because it is possible that after this event there will be a change in the balance of global power and in global and diplomatic relations with all countries. The parties must study and see what the existing balance of power is, what will happen after this event, and this will have a direct impact on the Middle East in particular. Regarding Palestine, Gaza, Syria, and Sunni-Iran relations, we hope for positive outcomes. May God honor Islam and Muslims. Blessings and peace to all.